I'm Katharine Henderson, and I'm president of Auburn Seminary, and am so blessed every day to work with leaders of faith and moral courage of many different religious traditions, equipping them to do the work of justice together. And today, I'm here to proclaim that we do not have to be the victims of fear. This election cycle has in some ways brought out the worst in us, brought out fear of the other that is taking so many forms: racism, homophobia, fear of immigrants, fear of Muslims, fear of Sikhs, fear of women. As our world becomes increasingly diverse, and in America we are soon going to be no longer a white majority, and so I understand it is horrific, but it's not surprising that we are seeing a backlash of hatred and violence, a surge of hatred and violence in some ways that we haven't seen in a very long time. And some of the candidates in this election season are manipulating this fear to gain votes, using rhetoric and tactics that pit people against each other, family members against family members, neighbors against neighbor. Now, as a Christian, my sacred text offers me strength and insight, and I want to share this particular text with you because as I was thinking about coming here today, I thought maybe you've heard this text and maybe you haven't. And here it is. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. Not fear, but power and love and a sound mind, a quietness of mind. This means that when we fall prey to the rhetoric of hatred and division, we have to remind ourselves that fear doesn't have the last word. We have the power to release ourselves, and we have the power to release each other from fear and from the hatred it fuels. And the wisdom of my tradition also reminds me that I have to love and pray for my enemies. Can you imagine such a thing? And I can see in my mind's eye a couple of faces of some of the people whom I might consider enemies in this election season. You probably can too. But this is a spiritual discipline that actually heals my heart and releases me when I pray for my so-called enemies. And I'm inviting you to do that too. Loving the enemy was mandated by Jesus, the one whom I follow, and more recently exemplified beautifully in the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who wrote in 1967, but his words ring true for us in this election season. I have decided to stick with love because hate is too great a burden to carry. Hate is too great a burden for any of us to carry, so let us stick with love. Thank you.